In 2025, I sold over $1 million worth of product on Amazon, and this is episode 7 of me scaling my business from $1 to $3 million this year with online arbitrage. So welcome back to the channel, guys. And today we're going to go over how this week's results went. And before we go ahead and get into that, there is one thing I want to mention. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, I highly advise you go and do so. Our next email will be sent on Wednesday, so definitely be sure to sign up before then so that you can get the next email in our sequence. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into how this week's numbers went. All right, so jumping into this week's numbers, we can see that I bought over 1,200 units this week with an ACOG of about $30 and an ASP of about $61. Unique ASINs was at 60 this week, so you can see that we actually kept it pretty condensed this week for unique ASINs. I feel like usually we're getting sometimes up into the 80s range. This week it was a little bit lower at 60, but the spend was massive. ROI was about 28%, margin was about 15.6%, estimated sales was $67,000. Spend was almost 40K this week, so a really good bounce back from last week, and profit on that's looking to be about $10,000. And now on our spend tracker, we're looking at about a net profit of almost $15,000 and a net margin of almost 13%. So this was a entire percent increase in net margin from last week and about 3x more profit this week than last week. So now let's go ahead and get into the Google Sheet where I'll break down everything else and show you guys anything that is awaiting shipment or on hold. Okay, so in Google Sheets, we can actually see that the majority of stuff in the first week of February that was in the hold section here has actually been moved over into the primary section, meaning it has counted. So you can see now our spend is way more than what it used to be. So we're at a $65,000 total in spend, which is putting our estimated sales at right at $117,000 on the month already. And it's only the second week of February. On top of that, we're looking at about a 29% ROI and almost a 16% margin with profits in the $18,500 range. And as you can see, in accordance to our spend goal, this is putting us way ahead. We are $14,000 ahead in spend and also $6,000 ahead in profit. So we're looking really good now after this past week. Put a lot of time into sourcing. Really not even a lot of time, just a lot of focus in the right areas, I would say. A lot of times when you're sourcing, I think more focus versus more time is usually the way to go. Unless obviously you're just starting out and you need to put the time in, then of course you got to do what you got to do. Time is still very important, but having the right focus elements and having your team do the right things each week is how you actually expand the spend and overall the output that you want. We can see that our total units is up to 2,300, just a little bit over that. ACOG is at $27.76 and ASP is pretty much coasting right at 50. And if we take a look at the catalog for the second week of February, we can see that there is a decent amount of stuff in holds though. So there might be some spillover spend that's unaccounted for from this week to next week. So definitely expect this spend number to be even higher, which is a great thing to see. Just got to make sure that all this stuff in holds actually ships. And if we come to net projections, again, it's going to be the same as what we've got on our Google Doc. And it actually looks like I messed up our net profit and net margin. So my apologies. Our true net margin and true net profit is going to be 14K in net profit and 12.23% net margin. Just forgot to change the overhead input dates. So this is the more accurate numbers. Now with those numbers out of the way, let's go ahead and get into Seller Board to see what I actually made this week. All right, so over here in Seller Board now, we can see that we did another $50,000 in revenue week. So looking very consistent there. 38 refunds, over 1,000 units sold, and about 7,500 in gross profit. If we take a look into the statistics, we can see we're sitting at about a 15% margin, which is exactly where I want to be. We're looking at about a 3.5% refund rate. So now let's go ahead and start figuring out how much we paid in prep. And not only that, how much we expect to make in net profit and net margins. So these are going to be our final numbers for the first week of January, just over about 5,000 in profit. Really happy to see that, but I'm more excited to see the fact that we are now double digits in our margin. I told you guys it would happen. Just takes a little bit of time because you have the Q4 madness and then you got January, which is full of returns. So I want to see exactly how much this margin is looking like for the second week of February. So let's go ahead and take this $5,300 value and divide it by about 49,000 in sales. All right, and we can see that we are almost at 11%. So that's killer for me. Super excited to see that. Really worked hard to get that back up to where it needs to be. So really, really good stuff. And now for all the numbers out of the way for the second week, let's go ahead and get into what I was actually working on and what I was building this week. Almost forgot a couple things. So first is going to be Seller Central payouts. And the second thing is actually going to be QuickBooks. So this is the first time in the series where you guys will actually see the net profit I made from a month of doing online arbitrage from my bookkeeper directly. So we're going to show that after we go over the payouts here real quick. So we can see this week we took about 30-ish grand in payouts, and that's going to bring us to a total of $42,000. So we're a little bit upside down on our cash conversion just in terms of how much we're spending versus how much we're getting back. But we have been ramping up spend a lot more than I thought we were going to this month. So honestly, I'm just going to keep riding the hot hand. I got 0% APR till the summer. I got the Amex Plum, which is 60-day payback. So I'm going to be fine if there's even a little bit of a discrepancy there. So I'm just going to ride that hot hand and keep it going. But now let's get into QuickBooks so you guys can see actually how much I made on paper net after everything with the bookkeeper in January. Okay, and coming down to QuickBooks here, we can see that there are a couple of things that I blurred out, personal information, of course, but there's also going to be some areas where I made sure to put some red marks through so that we can take those off of the net income. So we can see there is about a $5,000 value and a $400 value. This is just external income for myself that does not come from the Amazon business directly. The credit card rewards and cashback does directly come from Amazon, but I don't like to factor that in when it comes to thinking about marginally how the business is operating. It is a nice cherry on top, and if it wasn't for the business, I wouldn't be making money with it. But I don't know, I'm kind of weird like that. I mean, depending on how you want to calculate it, you can definitely count it, but the other 5K is just from external income sources and unrelated to this particular online arbitrage business. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take the numbers that we see on screen here in the red slash through, and we're going to deduct it from the green net income of about $19,368 to then figure out how much I made just from arbitrage in January of this year. So we can see that we're sitting at about 13.6K. You want to add in that $437 in credit card cashback. That'll bring us to about $14,000. And if you guys have watched any of the previous episodes, specifically, I think it was the last episode, so that'd be episode 6, I actually did cover how much I projected to make in January, and it was pretty spot on with this number here. I said it should be about 14 to 15K once the bookkeeper has everything entered. So we can see that these projections that I am putting out there are fairly accurate. I mean, we're going to see how they hold up now from January into February. But again, this isn't just me like putting numbers on a screen and making stuff up, right? Like this is actually tactical for my business so that I know how effective my cash conversion is running, how good my margins are, if there's any products I got to let go, if there's any spend discrepancies that I got to start ramping spend up. So this is the whole reason of why I'm doing this stuff, is to document and show you guys what running a business and looking at it as an operation is actually like versus just doing this to make some money on the side. So now with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what I was working on specifically for this week. All right, so the first thing that I was working on this week was actually creating content, more content for YouTube, and just kind of using the editor that I just got. And we really started going hard on some videos. I'm definitely still learning the ropes, and it's just a completely new field for me. So this took up a good amount of time on my Saturday. Spent literally the entire day just scripting, planning, creating, and ultimately posting content. So expect some more videos this week and just more in the future. I plan to do about 3 uploads a week. So definitely stay tuned. It's going to help you start or scale your own Amazon business, pretty much everything Amazon related, and also weekly videos about my journey. Next, involving the actual business is, if you guys remember from last week, if you had watched the last episode, I said that I was going to take a meeting with a tax professional. So I actually got around to doing that. Really good prices, really good deal. I think I should be able to save upwards of 5 figures in taxes this year. So way better than going to H&R Block, which is where I went last year. So really excited about that and was happy that I was able to get on a call. Next was sourcing. So as you can see, we spent a lot of money this week, and I think the real lesson that comes from that is really continuing to go deeper on what is really good for us. There really wasn't nothing I want to say special about this week, and there honestly wasn't more time that I was dedicating myself, at least, to sourcing than other weeks. This is just the natural flow and progression of the game with arbitrage, that some weeks are going to be hotter than others. And you also got to understand, this week was where President's Day sales started to kick off, Valentine's Day sales started to kick off, or we're already in the midst of kind of in that middle section. But from the 7th to the 14th, that's really where all of the February sales come from. So again, just a better week to source overall and to put more resources, time, and energy into actually trying to buy product. And the last thing I was working on this week was I took 2 calls with my sourcer to train him on manual sourcing. Like I said in the last video, the 2 calls were literally what I described, which was the first call was just a general outline and basically breaking down the entire process on a fundamental level. And then we took a second call going over a particular website that is definitely going to be a long learning and, intensive challenge. Definitely not something he's going to be able to learn overnight, but it's better to get him started now so that in the future he can already have a feel for it, and I eventually will be able to delegate that, and he will just kind of own that and do very well with it as he just continues to get more experience. If you guys don't know me already, this is how I like to train my staff. I literally just, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Here's the lesson. Start implementing, start making a bunch of mistakes and you'll learn from your mistakes. So firm believer in that. But the next thing that we're going to get into is sort of like these struggles, talking points, anything that I felt like I just wasn't able to uphold this week. So the biggest thing for me actually wasn't content sourcing, really anything operationally. It was just the fact that I wasn't able to make any changes to the software this week. I know in the last one I was talking about making changes to the API with the Gmail inbox. Again, very complicated thing because you guys can't physically see it, but no software changes were made this week, unfortunately. I just didn't have the time between trying to get a bunch of videos up, cram this all in. I'm also going to Austin this week, so super excited to see one of my boys that I actually met from doing Amazon. So shout out Ryan if you're watching this. We're gonna have a great time down there, but because of that, I was just really trying to cram everything in, get these videos ready to go and uploaded before I actually head out for that trip. So I just didn't have time to mess with the inbox, but I hope I can find some time this week because there are still some inefficiencies with the backup admin VA that I have. Now she's doing a lot better since we have, just progressively taken more off of her plate, but there's just so much more that I want to be able to do. And now Claude Cowork has actually come to Windows. So experimenting with Claude Cowork in the next week is going to be very interesting. And I want to see if it can do some of the basic things that she's doing right now to continue to free up more time and ultimately continue to make our operation run cheaper, more effectively, and smoother for everyone in it. And I would say if there's one lesson that I learned this week from just being sort of in this mix of starting my content journey and also building my Amazon business to 3 million is that when you are trying to build two skills or two things at once, I really think the best path of consistency and progression is simply just to take your main skill and try and double, triple, whatever the outcome or output of that is, because that is like your bread and butter. So for me, that's like arbitrage, right? That's why I wanted to make this series. Okay, I knew that making a series like this was going to A, keep me consistent with a new goal I wanted to do for this year, which was making content, but more importantly, B, it was still going to scale up what I have already built because I am fully capable of doing so if I push myself. And because of that, right, me doing content doesn't feel like a job, and it certainly doesn't feel like a pressureful thing I need to be doing. It's more so that I want to do this because I feel called to do so. I mean, I've been making content since I literally started Amazon back in 2024, so almost 2 years ago, when I had no systems, no teams, no sales, literally nothing. I started making content from the ground up. So I just felt compelled and called to do this, but it's been a lot easier with this journey, knowing that my main income, my main skill is paying me more than ever right now. And that's because I did not pivot away from that. And I think it's very easy when you're starting something new to want to really glamorize the new thing and kind of forget the old. But I'm not in the point in my business even to where I can just let go completely and the thing can run all by itself. I still got to be present. I still got to put the work in. I still have to guide the team. So there's still so many more goals that I want to do with my own arbitrage business and obviously be able to make content as well. But keep your goals small is the big picture of what I'm trying to say here. Keep your goals small for your side project and keep your goals big for your main project. So if there's one thing you can learn from me this week, that's definitely going to be it, especially if you're trying to get into a new field, industry, just trying to make money or do anything new. So that's what I could say for that. And then moving into next week, so I got a couple things that I want to work on. First, I want to do another live call or a Loom or something with my sourcing VA, and we're going to teach him and give him authority now to be able to restock products. So up until this point, he hasn't been able to submit anything that I have any level of stock on. And the way he checks this is just by going to Amazon Seller Central or our inventory sheet. He kind of does both. And he basically just checks if we've bought the product in recent time or if we have stock. Well, because he's been training with Velocity and he's starting to understand how much he would buy on certain products through different factors like offers tab, offer count movement, etc., etc. Because he's actually giving me hard numbers now and not just giving me estimates, I think this guy is more than capable of doing forecasting. So gonna take a call or do a sourcing Loom or something like that to where I can break it down for him and then give him the authority and allow him to start doing that. And that's gonna tie in really well with him doing manual sourcing, because a lot of manual sourcing is just hitting the same product you did about 2-3 months ago and now it's back on sale and you just want to get it again. So this will be a good thing for him to learn, just makes his skill set as a sourcer a lot better so that when I go and hire a second sourcer, he can be that managerial position to really train everything that he's learned up until this point, pass it down to the second guy, leaving me not as heavily involved into the second guy's training, which I hope to make a hire hopefully at the end of this month or maybe even early March. So we'll see on that. Not entirely positive, but just a side thought. Next thing, again, if I got free time, I would love to do something with the software, get the API inbox systemized and correctly built out. It's still kind of buggy, but it does fundamentally work. So I really think a couple of tweaks, literally like maybe 30 minutes of just sitting down, focused, and trying to make some improvements there could definitely do the trick. And then 3, I have something in the works, which is going to be a ungate. So I'm looking to do about 100 unit ungate. I've been trying at it for the last like 4 days and really nothing's happened yet. That is unfortunately the state of ungating in today's world of Amazon FBA, but definitely still possible, especially when you're getting the best invoices you can from the best suppliers and ultimately just trying to get everything to match as closely as possible with Amazon. So I'm just going to keep trying at this point, and once I get that big ungate, I really think it's going to help us move the needle towards 3 million this year. But besides that, pretty short episode I feel like this week. Again, was just working on a lot of the basics, and that's really all I have for you guys in this one. So I'll catch y'all in episode 8 where we go over more stuff and just, more of everything. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.